Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the channel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the new game that Tarsier Studios are working on at the moment. And of course, if my voice sounds a little bit off, it's because I am recovering still. I did lose my voice for a good few days, so please bear with me. Anyway, I digress. In today's video, I want to talk about some of the things that have been shared from Tarsier Studios, and I want to share with you what I think is going to be coming for this project and that of Tarsier Studios. So I think it's worth reiterating that this is not Little Nightmares 3 or anything of the sort. Tarsier Studios do not have the right to work on Little Nightmares and the IP unless the owners of the Little Nightmares IP say so. And of course, the owner of Little Nightmares is Bandai Namco. So in short, Tarsier have absolutely nothing to do with Little Nightmares anymore, unless for some bizarre reason they got hired by Bandai. But the problem is they won't get hired by Bandai because Embracer, who own Tarsier Studios now, have told Tarsier Studios specifically, go work on your own new IPs. And that's what we're talking about today. I had to clarify that because there still is a little bit of confusion amongst the fans about that, but I hope that did clear it up. And of course, if you do have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them in the comments below. So with that being said, if you like these types of videos or theories, stories explained and everything in between, make sure you hit subscribe to the channel because I will be covering the new game from Tarsier Studios going forward whenever we get any news or anything of the sort. Anyway, so, on the 22nd of March 2023, Tarsier Studios released a brand new image, showing us more of the world they've been building. In the post titled New World, emphasis on new, we can see a dark image with a few key items in the foreground. That being a small lit boat on the bottom of the image, which looks like it's carrying around 5 people on board. From the distance, it's hard to make out any sort of age from the characters. So of course, at the moment, we have no idea of scale. So we don't know if the boat is big or small, or the people are small or big. So again, that's up in the air. And we also can see a pair of oars which look to be motionless, almost as if the creatures on the boat are taking a break and warming in the fire. From that assumption, we can assume that the boat is not made of wood, or else that might backfire relatively quickly. Aside from the creatures on the boat, we can also see something high in the sky. At first, I thought this could be clouds as a way to visibly show that they were alone and even lost in just the sea of emptiness. But after expecting the image more, and I will show you in the video, I believe that we are actually looking at the top of some cliffs, or the rocky front view of them all, or, you know, something just relatively close towards the end of the sea. A great reference for this would be the White Cliffs of Dover. The scene looks like it's setting up the beginning of our adventure as the character goes off to explore the area. Perhaps this is why in this particular snapshot they are taking a break, because they're preparing for the perilous journey that awaits them. Perhaps in front of us lies a dark and dangerous cave system, or something similar to a gorge. Something I really like about this is the lonely moonlight shining down in front of the characters, while rain or snow falls give me a very unsettling vibe. Already you can tell the atmosphere in this game is going to be great. And this ties of course nicely with the previous image, which I think takes place after the first image that we just saw. And of course we're referring to the image that Tarsier Studios have on their banner, and it looks to be that of the aftermath of what we've already seen just. We see a small figure hunched by a fire next to a tent. This has been set up on a coastline, and the rocks and cliffs seem to match the characteristics of what we saw previously. So I would assume we would be right in thinking that this is where the previous characters were originally headed to. And this is how many are left, just one lonely creature. And I think this creature is alone because of the fact that we should be able to see some type of figure coming from the tent, or if someone was inside the tent, due to the reflection of the candlelight or fire, we would see inside it. The area seems rather empty, so this must be something that isn't a task that comes often. The area itself looks to be a very harsh and cold environment that looks like it rarely leaves room for forgiveness. But with that, it's truly setting a scene, a dark and twisted one, where you, the player, will be helpless and alone in this large, dark place. What we should be asking is, what lies beyond? What kind of journey is this going to be? One where we face our fears, our self-doubts, our anxiety? Or is it just trying to fit in this ruined world, trying to survive at whatever's thrown at us? Or is it just to simply survive? So where could this be going? Well, we know that Tarsier Studios have a great track record when it comes to making an atmospheric horror and enjoyable games. You only have to look at their lineup of previous projects. More importantly though, I believe that they're going to try and recreate another experience similar to Little Nightmares, and of course they're well within their right to do that. Of course it would be smart to create another game that targets the same audience that Little Nightmares has. Again, Tarsier Studios have paved the way for this new breed of horror. One that sparks imagination of the player and leaving the player only snippets of clues along the journey. They leave the horror open to us in how we want to interpret it. Of course, there's no right or wrong answer, as they've repeatedly stated this a lot of times with previous games. The true horror is what we, as the player, can come up with. Of course, we've seen remnants of this in games like Limbo and Inside, but I believe it's Tarsier Studios that have unlocked that formula to finding the balance of horror and intrigue and great pacing when it comes to these types of atmospheric story games. So with that being said, I believe it is safe to assume that we're going to be seeing another type of atmospheric puzzle platformer horror adventure game, where we play the role of like a helpless character or one that needs help. And of course I believe this character is the one that is sat on the shore by the fire. I believe it's going to have that same desperate, dark and helpless feel that Little Nightmares has, where existence is a battle. Perhaps this is emphasized by the use of dark lighting and the feeling of being alone in these teaser images. It's safe to say if these teasers are anything to go by, I'm sure a lot of us are going to be really happy with what comes from Tarsier Studios. I, for one, am super excited and I can't wait to see what they actually reveal and more information that comes about the game. I'm hoping that we do get to see them in some type of convention this year, perhaps something like Gamescom again. But of course, I will be covering the game in all aspects, so if you want to keep up with Tarsier Studios and that new game and the latest news, make sure to hit subscribe and do all the YouTubey thing. Make sure you hit notify for when all the new videos do come out. But with that being said, have a lovely morning, day or night wherever you are in the world. Stay safe and I'll see you all in the next Theory video. Bye!